I'm SoCal Honey Badger, and that was my intro. Hi, kids. So, we are now, a week away, or week removed from the Spawn patch that was likely the last big patch of this year of Mortal Kombat. And, some people were not 100%, satisfied there with the Spawn patch. However, I do think a lot of things that needed to be fixed got fixed. However, there are a few things I personally would have preferred that they added to this patch. And so in this video, I'm going to cover character by character some of the things that I think NetherRealm should definitely consider when buffing or nerfing specific characters, and also a couple of quality of life changes that I believe would make the game a little bit better. The kind of focus of this video is, or the focus of what I would do to patch this game, is to add either play versus counterplay in certain situations, or to double down on a character's strength. So what I mean by play versus counterplay is there's a lot of just brain dead things that you just do for no thought or cost, and I think that it would be better if there was more thought and counters to it, so that you're not just kind of mashing something out or just doing something because it's the thing to do. That there's actually a risk and there's a way to beat it, and there's a way of beating the thing that beats the thing, so that you're constantly making decisions and not just brain dead autopilot. And as far as doubling down on a character's strengths, one of the big complaints in this game is that a lot of characters are very similar, and at the end of the day, in high level, there's really only two play styles, and that is hardcore rushdown or kind of hardcore zoning. And I'd like to see more differences among characters and playstyles and high level, but also I feel it's important to give every character certain specific universal tools, because the meta has kind of advanced in a certain direction and some characters are just woefully unequipped for it. So sit back and grab a beer and a woman with loose morals, and we're going to talk about some Mortal Kombat wish list patch notes and what I would do if I was a Mortal Kombat maker. Alright, so the first changes I would want to go over are more universal changes to add a more play versus counterplay dynamic. One of the things that I've kind of been annoyed with in this game is this, right? Like, you go and you get the hit, they break away, especially if you do something like this. He's going to get up and blow me up. I landed the hit. I worked hard to get that hit. I should make that combo. And the problem with breakaway is that it takes away a lot of the thought process and play versus counterplay in the game. If I land a combo, you shouldn't really be able to punish me. And if you do have a way to punish me, there should be a way for me to counter that other than just dropping my combo on purpose. It really breaks the flow of the match and makes matches look kind of lame. Because if we turn off, right, we turn off breakaway. Wrong menu. Where is it? Where are we at? Breakaway. Off, right? You watch a tournament and you see this, and you see that, right? And come on, he didn't break away, but I did an uppercut and my combo was dropped and weaker. And that's not really fun or interesting as a viewer or as a player. And there's no counterplay to breakaway other than just drop my combo earlier and leave damage on the table. However, NetherRealm has kind of, I guess, rectified this with the addition of Spawn having a mechanic where he can hit you with his club and it'll break armor and relaunch you if you break away. If he makes the read, if he gets a launcher and he makes the read that you're going to break away, he can punish you for breaking away. Now, right now, you can kind of do that with fatal blows, But I say, why don't they make that a universal mechanic across everybody? And what I propose, wrong menu again, is you have this, right? Hold on, you don't have that. You have this. That's the wrong thing. We'll go back there. That's what we wanted. Bam, right? You have the crushing blow uppercut. What have they made it a universal mechanic to where if you did an uppercut during the combo, because you're going to be doing an uppercut to break combos or stop breakaway anyways, what if it gave you a crushing blow? All they would have to do is go through and add the crushing blow requirement to every character's uppercut, that if they did the uppercut while you broke away, it would give you the crushing blow. There'd be play versus counterplay on this, because if you choose not to break away, right, I do that and I do an uppercut, then I'm just dropping my combo earlier and leaving damage on the table. But if you did break away, I can relaunch you for big damage. So now there's kind of a fear of them punishing your breakaway versus me using an uppercut and fishing for that extra crushing blow. And also, because it's tied to the crushing blow mechanic, you'd only really get it one time. So it's not like you could punish every breakaway, and it's not like you would be able to get big damage off of every combo, because you'd only get it one time. And if they choose not to break away, well, now you just wasted your combo opportunity by doing an uppercut when you didn't need to. So there's play versus counterplay. There's thought versus counter thought. It gives the person on offense something to do to continue their offense, and it gives someone on defense something to play around with. Because if I have 2 bars, if I launch them and they have 2 bars, I've got to be thinking, okay, are they going to be breaking away? And they're going to be thinking, you know what? This guy's going to fish for the crushing blow. I'm going to keep my bars and just take the uppercut. And it adds another mind game, because if they go for a grab and I use this to punish the grab, now they know they can break away for free from the rest of the round. So that's one change I would add as a universal change. The second one is this. Delay wake-up buttons is the stupidest stuff of the world. The reason being is that there's no real play versus counterplay. I mean, I can go for my meaty. One of the things that makes delay wake-up button so strong is the animation while they're getting up, right? That whole him getting off the ground is still invincible. So even if I anticipate it, or if I mistime my meaty wrong, he's going to get up and he's going to be able to invincibly just break through my meaty and punish me with buttons. There's no play versus counterplay. In high level, you see someone go for a wake-up, and then instead of pressing their advantage, they just back up and wait to bait out whatever they're going to do. Also, delayed wake-up devalues every other wake-up option, and those options are not free. They cost meter. So, my proposal is to add an animation to delayed wake-up. Here's the deal. A lot of people are proposing that delayed wake-up cost meter. But I understand the reasoning why it doesn't cost meter. Because when you don't have meter, you've got to have something to defend yourself other than just stand there and block and take their pressure. The whole point of delayed wake-up is that you have something to at least fight back if you used up all your meter. You're not defenseless when you use your meter. The problem is the animation is the same. So there's no play versus counterplay of, is he going to delay? What am I going to do about the delay? It's just, I knocked him down. Now I'm going to chill and wait and let him get up. And now I have no momentum, and he got away out of my pressure for free. The thing is, they already solved this problem in MKX. In MKX, if you knock them down and they did a delay wake up, they'd lay there for a second and they'd kind of look at you, like lay flat, and they'd tilt their head up and they'd look at you, and you would know, oh, they did a delay. Okay, let me adjust the timing of my wake-up momentum and change what I'm going to do. The thing is, in this game, when they do a delay wake-up, you have no idea if they're doing a delay, a short delay, a long delay, or just getting up. So I just say bring back the old MKX animation, so that way if they decide to do a delay, if I have good reaction, which reaction time is a skill, so it would be a skill-based thing. If I see that they're doing a delay, I can delay my wake-up. If I don't, I can confirm that they're not doing a delay and go for my meaty pressure. So there's play versus counterplay, and now there's a risk to delayed wake up besides just, oh, I'm going to do it because, why not? And it would kind of favor offense a little bit more, which I feel is a thing that you want to do. It's something that you want to... this game is already kind of slowed down and turtley enough as it is. So why not at least have some way to keep offense going? So yeah, those would be the two universal changes I would add to the game. Let's move on to the characters, alright? Alright, since I'm already here, I might as well just start with my main. A lot of people are asking for Kung Lao to have stupid stuff, like a better overhead or an overhead in his strings. The thing is, Kung Lao doesn't really need an overhead, and the reason for that is the way strings and mix-ups work in this game is that, like, once you know the string, then you know where to block. I mean, all an overhead would do would beat noobs. If I had a string, say if this was an overhead, well, the only thing that would do would be to beat people who don't know that there's an overhead in there. And Kung Lao, I don't think having like an overhead special move that he could cancel into, or, a string, like say he had this string and it ends in a low, but I could cancel into an overhead special, that wouldn't really help in his offense at all. Kung Lao has a couple of problems. The first problem is orbital hat whiffing a lot of the time. So you do this and it whiffs, right? I spent the bar to make myself safe, and yet I can still get punished. So I would say on orbital hat, make orbital hat not whiff so much. Extend the hitbox a little bit further out, so that way I wouldn't have to burn it double to be able to get the extended range on it. That's one change. The other change I would propose for Kung Lao is something with this string, right? 1, 2, 2. Now, a lot of you guys don't know, when the game first released, this was actually a 4-input string. It was 1, 2, 2, 3, and then they stealth changed it into just being 1, 2, 2, and now you do the string and the whole thing comes out. But let's be honest, what does this even do? Like, what is the point? Is it a combo ender? It starts with a bunch of highs, so even if you did it in a combo, a lot of times the last couple hits would whiff. There's no mix-up. Right? It's not like I can change up where I go with the string. All I've got off of 1, 2 is that. Or not doing anything. I can do 1, 2 orbital hat. This doesn't even come out on block. So if I set the AI to just block everything, right? The string doesn't even come out. What is the point of the string? So I would say, first thing is to make that string revert back to the way it was. In 1, 2, 2, 3. So it would have 4 inputs, and then you could hit confirm, right? Kung Lao having a hit confirm off of his jab is really not that bad. Yeah, he can hit confirm off that, but I don't see how it would break the character if he had a hit confirm off of his jab that didn't side swap. It just doesn't seem like something that would make the character cheap. And then you can stagger. You can do 1, 2, or you can do 1, 2, 2 and get the third hit. Or you can do 1, 2, 2, 3 and get the fourth hit. There's a lot of mind games and things that you could do, and it would make Kung Lao's offense less one-dimensional of, I'm going to do 1, 2, or I'm going to do down 3, I'm going to do forward 1, and then if I make a hard read, I'll go for forward war. It would just open up his command list a lot more. And the third change I would add is actually kind of a quasi-revert of the nerf. So the patch before the spawn nerf, they actually nerfed... Here, let me turn that off. What are we doing? Get the breakaway out of here, right? So the last patch, they made it to where jump kicks did less damage and they scaled more in combos, which is fine, right? Because a lot of people had some nutty stuff that they could do off jump kicks. They could combo off of it. Jump kicks already have a weird hitbox, and the whole strength behind jump kicks was that they were harder to anti-air, but your damage output was lower. The problem is that a lot of Kung Lao combos ended with a jump kick into dive kick, right? This is your basic ender with Kung Lao. And making jump kicks do less damage and scale more overall really hurt his combo output. And that was kind of the thing about Kung Lao, is that he's unsafe on everything, but if he hit you hard. But now, right? I mean, this is just a basic combo with Kung Lao. Is you do that, right? And then that. Hold on, let me do it right. Right, so 324, that's like average for the high end. Whereas Kung Lao used to easily get like 330 off of that. He lost 6 damage, but I feel like that's significant enough over the course of a match that, like, he doesn't hit you that often. And most of when he hits you is going to be grabs and low damage options. So when he gets the combo, that was the big thing, was that I did the combo, I made the read, let me get my big damage, and then go back to neutral. And now he doesn't have that, which really weakens the character overall. So I would say, instead of reverting the jump kick nerf across the board, is just kind of make some of his moves do a little bit more damage. So you see this, right? Like, if this just did like another 2 or 3 damage, you know, if spin did one more, if they add like 1 damage across the board to the most of his move set over the course, right? So this combo, bam. So you had forward 1, 3. That's 1 move. You get 1 more damage. Meter burn, spin, another damage. 2, 1, another damage. Regular spin, another damage. Jump kick, dive kick, that's 2 more damage. So you'd be adding 6 damage to that combo as a whole, which would take it from 324 to 330. That wouldn't be a huge buff if they just added 1 damage to his regular move set across the board to kind of counteract the nerf on the scaling and the damage of the jump kicks. It allowed Kung Lao to basically hit as hard as he used to without really making him hit super hard. And you gotta think, like, this right here, that's minus 19, and this, or this right here, you know, meter burn spin is what, minus 20 something? Minus 25? So if I'm committing to that string, if I'm doing that string at all, I'm already leaving myself open for punishment. At least let the character get his damage as a reward. And adding, you know, 6 damage to the end of that combo isn't going to really, like, break the character. It's not like he goes from being a 3-touch character to a 2-touch character. He's still going to kind of be a 3-touch character, but instead of being a 3.5-touch character with some grabs thrown in, he kind of goes back to being a 3-touch character. And I feel like that would overcome a lot of his weaknesses and make the reward for working so hard to get the hit worthwhile in the end. Anyways, let's go on to the next character, alright? Alright, so let's just start with the first character that your character select icon is already going to be on, and he's probably the most popular character in the game anyways. So chances are a lot of you guys here are probably Scorpion players. One of the running themes with my proposed patch notes is to make sure that everybody has at least the one tool needed to compete at high level. And at the end of the day, it's pretty much established that if you don't have a fast mid, you're going to struggle. And a fast mid is basically categorized as a mid that is 11 frames or faster. So my proposed change to Scorpion would just be to make forward 3 11 frames. Right? A lot of his pressure starts with this. And the reason why, okay, let me explain first. The reason why you need a fast mid is that way you don't have to rely on jailing so much. So when the game devolves and degenerates to this range, which most matches will, if you have a fast mid, you just do your fast mid. If you don't have a fast mid, you have to rely on down 1 into jailing, which means that they have 2 guesses to escape your offense, whereas someone with a fast mid only has to make 1 guess. Are they going to attack, or are they going to hit push a button, or are they going to block, or are they going to duck a grab, which is the same as pushing an attack. You know, they're either going to evade or they're going to block. So if you have a fast mid, when I get here, yeah, I can use my pokes to get frame advantage, but oftentimes when I'm right here, I just go for my fast mid if I have one. If I don't, now I have to jail, right? So I down 1, I get frame advantage, and now you have to guess between jab or grab, which gives you 2 options to escape my pressure. and escape my rushdown. Now, not every character needs a fast mid, but I feel like most characters do. And that's the problem with Scorpion, is at the end of the day, he's either going to hit you with this or he's going to hit you with that, in which case he's got no follow-ups, right? But if he hits you with this, he's got to either jab you or grab you. But at least with a fast mid, he'd be able to do that and at least get his pressure going. And 11 frames isn't going to break the character. It's not like he's going to be like Jackie and just mashing this out all day. All this does is give him an opportunity to do something other than mash jabs when he gets in close. Because, like, you know, this is a big weakness for Scorpion. And it's a big weakness for a lot of characters. And this being 2 frames faster, it's not a big deal. It's 2 frames. Like, you look at when Liu Kang got nerfed and they made his forward 4 go from 9 frames to 11 frames, and everybody was like, yeah, he's not as broken, but he's still good, right? This being 2 frames faster would still be good, and it'd give him a mid that he can do stuff with to kind of fight in the close range. And if you wanted to unga bunga, you could sit there and, you know, cancel it into spear if you're a freaking idiot. But if you don't, you still have this, and you can still fight in the close range without having to commit to allowing them 2 guesses to get out of your close range pressure. And it's not like he's got a big hit confirming string. It's not like Scorpion is going to, you know, I mean, outside of Searing Rage where he's got this, but that's not hit confirmable anyways. And a lot of people are saying make this a 3 input string. I don't know that would really help Scorpion. I think keeping this as a keeping that as a hard read is fine. Searing Rage is all about being unga bunga and not giving a crap anyways. But at least if he could sit there and use this to contest counter pokes, because if I hit it down 1 and they just want to mash down 1s, at least I have a fast mid to contest counter pokes and stop people from neutral ducking to blow me up. It would add layers to his mind games. Anyways, that's all I'd really do for Scorpion. Let's move on to the next character. Alright, Scrub Zero. So, there's a lot of argument and debate about what to do with Sub-Zero. Right now, he really struggles, and the reason why he struggles is that he's got the same problem a lot of characters have. He has no good mid, right? He's got this, but that's, 13 frame startup move, right? Back 3, starts up, here we are, 13 frames. So, he ends up being the same as a lot of other characters. He doesn't have a good mid. At the end of the day, when you're in here, you hit your down 1 and you kind of have to rely on the jail, which gives them 2 opportunities to escape your pressure. The thing is, or you could, what am I saying? I'm thinking 5 things at once. Give me a sec. The thing is, I don't think every character needs a fast mid. And a lot of people are saying either make back 3, 11 frames, or make this a mid. Right, so your back 1, if we go over to your frame data, right, it has a 14 frame startup, but it's a high, and if they made that a mid, it'd be a 14 frame mid. I honestly don't think that would be a change that would help Sub-Zero. If anything, if back 1 ended up being a mid, Sub-Zero would just be cheap, right? Because even though it wouldn't be a fast mid, even though it wouldn't be in the 10 frame mark, if Sub-Zero had this as a mid, think about this, right? He could sit there and just kind of do this over and over and over and stagger this all day and lock you down with it and then go for his mix-ups as well. Like, that'd be kind of oppressive because he could just control you the whole time. It would take Sub-Zero and it would make him like a brain-dead Unga Bunga character like all the other Rushdown characters, and it would kind of ruin some of the strengths and weaknesses of what Sub-Zero is all about. So, the change I propose is not to give him something he doesn't have that every other character has, but to double down on what he does have, and that would be to make this unseeable. So let me explain. If you look at forward 2 is 19 frames on startup. I propose to make it 17 frames on startup. And here's the reason why. So everybody agrees on one thing. Sub-Zero online is really, really strong. One of the best characters in the game. He can compete with anybody. Offline, not so much. And offline is where it matters. This is why you don't see a lot of Sub-Zeros in tournament. So the reason for that is because one of his strongest tools online is his mix-up potential. Offline, he doesn't have that. Basically, this move just doesn't exist offline because you can see it and react to it and blow it up. However, at 19 frames, that's inside the realm of seeable moves. If you take it and you made it 17 frames, that would make it unseeable while still having the weakness of being kind of slow. So the thing is, Sub-Zero's strength online is that he can mix you up, and it's hard to read, it's hard to react. You just gotta kind of guess and hope he doesn't mix you up into his reset loops in one variation, or a smaller combo in the other variations. But the weakness behind this is that it's slow, so if he gets in here, he still can be mashed. And at the end of the day, he can't keep pressure going because he doesn't have a good mid, so he's got to rely on the jail, giving you 2 opportunities to escape his pressure, right? So he hits the down one, and it's either hit or throw, instead of using a mid to just kind of harass you and force you into a block stun and then setting up his mix-up. This would also make the game more consistent across the board, because right now, with Sub-Zero, you're basically playing 2 games. Online, he's this amazing character. Offline, he's this kind of bad character. But if you made his overhead unseeable offline as well as online, it would make the character play and function the same online as off. And that's really important because a lot of people these days don't practice offline. They practice online and then go to a tournament offline. And if you sit there and you practice a character online, and then when you go offline, the stuff that you did, like the core fundamental of what you did with the character, doesn't work, well, then, that you end up just going 0 for 2 in the tournament. But if we made Sub-Zero function exactly the same as he did offline as he does online, people that play Sub-Zero can actually practice and get good experience online, and what they do online will work offline. And people using matchup knowledge fighting Sub-Zero online versus offline, all of that's going to transfer. Because right now, when you fight Sub-Zero online, you're basically mashing your pokes, right? Up close, you're mashing to keep him from doing his back 3 or his forward 2. But offline, you're not doing that. You're actually just kind of crouch blocking, waiting for him to commit to something, and then punishing it, which changes the matchup dynamic entirely, and it makes him 2 different characters. I don't think making this 2 frames faster is going to break the character as much as making that a mid, because he's still going to do the same stuff, and people that have been fighting him kind of know how to deal with him. All it's going to do is make that transfer from one arena to the next. Anyways, let's move. Alright, so here we are with Noob Saibot. And honestly, I feel like this character's in a good spot, honestly. In Seeing Double and in, what's the variation to Dark Sabbath, he's not bad. He's not the best character in the game, but he can compete. And I feel like Seeing Double, I mean, he's a 4-touch character. For a spacing footsies fundamentals character, 4 touches, it's not that hard to get. And in his other variation, Dark Sabbath, he gets big damage. He goes from a 4-touch character to like a 2.5-touch character. And that's not a problem. I feel like Noob Saibot's in a good spot. But what really is a problem is variation 3. This variation really struggles. And I think the one change I would do to Noob Saibot is to fix this move. Right? So this is kind of the main event of this variation, is hitting this. But you honestly can't hit it off of anything. His big bread and butter string is this, and as you see, it doesn't hit. The only thing he can land that off of is that, right? Or maybe 2-1-2. So, I mean, unless you're going to be jailing off of that or fishing for that, Noob Saibot doesn't have a whole lot of strings that he can use his best move in this variation with. So what I would do is I would make it to where he can combo, what's the overhead one? This one. I would make it to where he can combo that off of 1-1-3. Right? So if you go for 1-2 or 4-2-2-1, you have that. If you go for 2-1-2, you have that. If you go for 1-1-3, you at least have the overhead that he can combo off of. So I would make this have quicker startup or give 113 more cancel advantage. So that way he can combo this off of it. So that way he can do something off of one of his best strings, right? He can't even combo it off of this, right? So he's got that. Oh, hold on. So he's got that. Come on, noob, do the string. Right? It doesn't combo off of that. So I would make it combo off of that as well, or make this combo off of his best mid. That seems to be the problem with Noob Cybot. Either make this not require them to be airborne and just have him be able to do it to standing opponents, or make this come out a little bit faster so he can combo it off of more of his strings. I mean, you see that just whiffs. I'm doing the close one and it whiffs off of his, you know, when they're at point blank. So that would be it for Noob. Make this combo on standing opponents, or make this come out faster and maybe not make it whiff in front of him. But that's it for Noob. I feel like Variation 1 and 2 are actually pretty solid for what they do. And there's not much I would do to change Noob in either of those variations. It's Variation 3 that seems to be the problem. Okay, so Baraka is another character that I feel like is in a pretty solid spot. But his big problem is, again, the same thing as a lot of other characters. He has to rely on jailing and has no good mid or low in the close range to really keep his offense going. The only thing I would do is make that, right, which is a 14 frame low. I would just make this 11 frames. Making it 3 frames faster isn't really going to break the move, so it's already unseeable. You're already, like, it's not like he's going to give you some unreactable attack. All it's going to do is make it to where when he's up close, he doesn't have to rely on that. He can kind of do that and bypass it. And for a character like Baraka that's supposed to be designed to be the unga bunga, get in your face, like I don't care about frames and combos, I just want to hit people and do Baraka things, it's kind of lame that he's so jab happy. Like, nobody picks Baraka to do this. You pick Baraka because you're like, I want to get in there and slice people up. And he's got those moves, right? Give him a good, solid, close range option. I mean, right now, most Barakas end up just fighting most of the match like this. And that's not fun. Nobody, like, if I wanted to zone, I'd pick a zone. I'd pick Shang Tsung or something. I'd pick Baraka because I want to slice people. So let's make his back 3 11 frames. That would be one of, you know, a universal thing primarily across most of the cast, and I think that would help Baraka a lot. Because at the end of the day, that's what Baraka struggles with the most in all of his matchups in high level, is that once I get in, I fight so hard to get in. Once I get in, well, I've got to work on jailing and whatnot. Nah, that's not worth it. I'm just going to zone, let them come to me. That's a boring way to play Baraka. And him having an 11 frame low isn't going to break the character. It would just be a quality of life thing, so that way Baraka can kind of do his rushdown thing. And it would actually help across all of his variations. I mean, 2 frames or 3 frames, that's nothing. It's nothing. That's not gonna make him OP. It's just gonna make him competitive. That's Baraka. Okay, there's really only one change I would do for Raiden. I feel like Raiden is pretty solid and competitive and can kind of hang with most of the cast in every way, shape, and form, really. But the main problem with Raiden is this string, right? That shouldn't have a flawless block gap. So if we set the block mode, all block type, flawless block, right? He can flawless block there. And I just don't see why that needs to be the case, right? Like, we set him to auto. Okay, auto block, right? Why didn't it go to auto? Auto block, right? So he blocks. Oh, I set it to stance. Let me set him to duck. So this is kind of a big weakness. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, we can't set him to block 1 and then Anyways, this shouldn't be flawless blockable. Get rid of this gap here, right? He's already got a follow-up that's not really safe. It'll give him a little bit more to work with in his staggers because this is unsafe, right? So back 1, 2, right? -9, so it's jab punishable. So at least this way he's got stuff he can do to kind of keep his pressure going without having to worry about being flawless blocked. It allow Raiden to be a little more competitive at high level. Right now, you just don't really see high level Raidens, and people believe that he's a good character, but he's just, God, that's just not right, man. I can't get down with that. I don't know of any other changes I would add to Raiden. I think otherwise, for all three of his variations, he's actually pretty good. Order of Light, a lot of people are asking for buffs on, but honestly, I think Order of Light is just far too unexplored to really be buffing it. And Raiden having Raijin and Thunderwave, him having two solid competitive variations, I think is fine until Order of Light is more explored within the community. But I think getting rid of this flawless block gap would definitely make the character a lot more viable, and it'd probably give a lot of Raiden players less of a headache. Alright, you guys knew we were going to do it. You knew we were going to talk about Jackie. They just nerfed her, upgraded variation, made it to where she can't run away or get in for free, but in my opinion, as much as that nerf helped, it didn't really fix the big problem with Jackie, in that Jackie can pressure for free. And that's the big problem, is that there's just no reason to not do this and then this, right? You just do that all day. 1-1, 4-3-1. Everything she does is safe, and it just leads back into the rest of her pressure. And first of all, that kind of devalues the importance of this variation's moves, right? So in first round KO, she's got the sway, right? This bad boy here. Where is it? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where's the sway? Is that under a combat bow attack? Or a normal attack? Where is the sway? I don't play this character, so, I mean, you know, yeah. Not familiar too much with what Jackie can do. I just know about what Jackie does do. Okay, so yeah, it's in this command. It's in her combo, so she can cancel with L2 for free, and it just leads to more pressure on top of more pressure. But the thing is, at this point with Jackie, there's no reason to really use the cancels. The cancels are unsafe, right? So if I do this, right, and I go for the cancel, like, there's no reason to put myself at that much risk. Excuse me. There's no reason to put myself at risk to cancel when this is already -2. So I go from having a 9-frame mid to using the 9-frame mid being at -2. Now my mid comes out in 11 frames. That's still fast. That still blows everything up. So what I would say for Jackie is to make certain strings more minus. So the big ones are 1-1, right? 1-1 is +2. I would make that -3. It'd still be safe. She could still kind of pressure you afterwards, but if she wanted to go for more pressure, she'd have to use her cancel. So make 1-1 between -3 and -5. Depending on, you know, honestly, I lean more towards -5, so that way if she does 1-1, she has to either commit to the sway or end her pressure. Or, you know, if they want to be a little more conservative, make it -3. That way at least you can kind of get a poke out maybe if you time it right. But I lean heavily towards making this -5 and making this string 4-3-1 also -5. So that way, and again, that's just adding another 5 frames of block disadvantage to it, thereby making it absolutely not her turn unless she commits to the sway. Right now, there's no reason to commit to the sway and take the risk. So if these were absolutely the end of her offense, If she wanted to, she'd have to take the risk and go back into it with the sway, or she could just end her offense. And that's really the problem with Jackie in all variations, is that she can pressure you and stagger you all day without having to take any risk and without having to ever give up her turn. I think that her having a point where she has to give up her turn or take the risk and go for the sway is a fair way of doing that. One of the proposed changes that they said is maybe make the bionic dash unsafe. But I kind of disagree with that. It's already a high, so you can bait it with a neutral duck. At the range she would want to do it, there's no reason to block or anything anyways. You could just kind of crouch walk. It being unsafe, I don't think, would really change up Jackie's matchup or any of her problems. Her problem is that she can pressure you and stagger you all day for free, and if she gets in close, you just never ever get to push a button until you can get away. So just making some of her strings a little bit more minus by 2 or 3 frames, or in the case of her 1-1, minus at all, would make it to where she can't just pressure you for free. She's got to take risks to keep the whole stagger going forever. And also it would add some differentiation between first round KO and upgraded. Because right now upgraded can basically do what first round KO also does, but not have to commit to the stagger. She just gets in, hits 4-3-1, 4-3, 4-3-1, 1-1, 4-3, 1-1, 1, 4-3-1 all day. Never having to do a stagger or never having to do a sway, because why would you need the sway anyways? So this would make it to where you'd have to choose between the two variations. Do I want the sway to keep pressure going, or do I want the leap to be able to get in for free? It'd add more play versus counterplay, which is kind of the theme of what I would do with this patch. But yeah, that would be how I would fix Jackie, and I feel like doing that and giving people some breathing room would make Jackie a regular character instead of the stupid, broken, brain-dead moron nonsense she already is. Alright, so that's Jackie. Okay, so this is a character that a lot of people think is one of the worst characters in the game, and I kind of agree, but I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's unplayable. I think you could win with him. The only changes I would make is make this a hit confirmable string. Just get rid of the dial-in for it and add a new string of back 2-2. So that way he can kind of pressure you and, you know, play the mid-range game, play the footsies game, and stagger just like everybody else. The last hit's already unsafe, so if they commit to it, you can already blow them up for it. But at least this way, Aaron Black becomes less of a just, you know, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this again. Like, he'll have some mid-range tool to, like, fight with people. He'll have a decent mid that he can use, that he can stagger, so he doesn't have to worry about, you know, people just ducking under stuff, and he won't be so much of a YOLO unga-bunga character. You can kind of play him in the neutral. And a lot of people are asking for, like, the Scud Shot nerf to be reverted. I don't agree with that. I think Scud Shot, if you're going to use Scud Shot to interrupt your strings, you should, you know, that should be a mind game, and it should be a committed mind game. So, you know, am I going to do it? When am I going to let it go? Or are you going to, you know, have time to hit me? Do I want to just burn the meter to keep myself safe? You know, or do I want to cancel it and go back into nonsense? I feel like Scud Shot where it is right now is fair and fine. The other change I would do would be to his second variation. Well, I don't want to control that guy. I want to control this guy. Yeah, Barking Irons. So in Barking Irons, he has the command grab, and this is kind of a thing that I would like to see across all command grab characters for the most part, is to make his command grab. Oh. What is it? Is it square or triangle? It's square. Make his command grab a mid grab. So you see how that has kind of worked out for characters like Garrus and Kotal Khan, and Collector. Mid grab, right? So you look at this grab. It does less damage than a normal grab, and it being a high means that there's no reason to ever really use it outside of a normal grab. Like, you know, he's got a tick grab off of that. He's got a tick grab off of that. But that's about it. I feel like making that a mid grab would make at least this variation a lot more scarier. And that's a change, honestly, that I would make across the board for all characters with command grabs. Because grapplers, outside of Kotal Kahn and Garrus and Collector, you're just not scared of command grabs. You could still avoid them like every other command grab, and they're just as, you know, punishable and unsafe to go for as any other grab. If they made his command grab a mid grab, it would make there have a reason to pick Barking Irons. And otherwise, you know, there's really no reason to pick Barking Irons. But that's really all I would change for Erron Black, is make back 2/2 non-staggerable, hit confirmable string, add a back 2/2 string to it, and make his mid grab, or make his command grab a mid grab to put him more in line with other grapplers. Alright, so Kano, this is a character I play quite a bit. I honestly feel like he's in a good place and he's competitive, and Molotov Kano is cheap. He's super OP, but I don't feel like he's unbeatable, so I honestly wouldn't touch Molotov Kano. The variations I would touch are Rat Bag and Ripper, and the change I would do to Rat Bag is make this launch a little bit higher. He's kind of limited in what he can combo off of from that, and this is supposed to be his big combo variation. And honestly, like, landing this, like, you can get like 2/2 or you can get 4/2. Like, if they, so, you know, before this was made a tournament variation, he used to launch them up pretty high. I don't know if they need to be launched up very high, but at least launch them up high enough to where, you know, if you look at it right now, right, and you have them break away. Whoop. So you do that, and they break away, and he can't really do anything, right? Like, they break away, and he can't follow up. He can't even hit an uppercut or anything. At least if they launched him up higher before they could break away, he could get an uppercut in before they broke away. And he can actually get, you know, more than just a, you know, one hit. You know, you got... You know, oh wow, they can break away there. I didn't know they could break away there. But wow, so you have to, wow, I didn't realize that was that bad. But I would say launch them up a little bit higher, and then he can get more damage off of it. And then for Ripper, which would be the command grab variation, I'd just make his command grab a mid. I feel like that variation is pretty solid. It does what it wants to do. The only problem is that there's, outside of like the tick throw he can get off of that and down one, there's no reason to really use command grabs or command grab variations over just regular grabs. And I mean, Kano has got a good grab game as it is, right? He's right in your face after one dash, after one grab. So if they made his command grab in Ripper a mid grab, there'd be a reason to pick that variation, and it'd make him a lot scarier up close, and it'd make him about as cheap as Molotov Kano. So that would be all I would do for Kano. Alright, so here's a character that a lot of people feel is really, really bad. So these are the things I would change to her. The first thing, I would get rid of a lot of the flawless block gaps she has in a lot of her strings. I don't think she really needs all those flawless block gaps. She already is kind of on the slow end. So I feel like if Scarlet is able to get her buttons out, she should be able to just get her buttons out. And most of her strings are like 1 or 2 hit, or 2 or 3 hits at most. She doesn't have any like long strings. So I feel like they should lighten up the flawless block gaps on a lot of her stuff. Mostly, the variation I think they should really look at is this one, Blood Drive. And kind of the big thing about this variation is this move, which gives you nothing, really. Like, if you look at, you know, if she spends the bar or she doesn't spend the bar, she's at +4. Like, I would say make that move, like, plus a lot. Like, make it kind of a combo extender if you spend the bar. So if you don't spend the bar, you're at +4. You can go for a standing reset. If you spend the bar, you can get a combo off of it. And that would kind of make Variation 2 actually worth picking over the other variations. And it would give her, you know, a more aggressive play style other than just kind of being a hard zoner. Because right now, like, what is the point of this move? What does it even do? Like, I'm at +4, and now they're in a range I don't want to be at anyways. Like, why would Scarlet ever want to be right here? She wants to be right here, you know? So if we're going to make her use this move and do a standing reset, right? Meterless standing reset, spend the bar, get a combo. I feel like that would make Variation 2 worthwhile playing. And the other variations are fine. It's just the flawless block gaps in a lot of her strings are pretty, it's just unfair. She can't really push any buttons or use any strings against someone that knows all the gaps. So I would lighten up some of the gaps. I would leave most of them, but get rid of some of them. And I would make this a true combo extender. So that way there's a reason to pick this variation. But that would be all I would really change with Scarlet. I feel like she's kind of solid. She just, you know, she's kind of barely teetering on the outside of competitive viability. So let's make the waifu of MK more competitive, huh? Okay, so this is a character that I enjoy playing a lot, and I feel like his biggest problem is his damage is trash, right? So even with, you know, meter burn Ermac, let's get a combo going here, right? So with meter burn Ermac, you're spending a bar and barely getting 23%. It's pretty bad. This character variation is supposed to sacrifice his zoning for more offensive mid-range combo potential. I would say lower or raise the damage on raw Ermac, make it around the 70 to 80 damage range, make it a little more effective as a combo ender, and like a meterless option for damage, and lower the damage scaling on the meter burn Ermac, so that way he can hit the, you know, at least 30% range. I mean, come on. He's giving up the zoning, and for very light damage. Yeah, he's got like gimmicks, but the gimmicks are gimmicks, and once you know your way around the gimmicks, he doesn't have a whole lot. He's not scary. At least let him hit harder as a kind of way to get around the zoning. That would be all I would do for Shang, though. I feel like Warlock is pretty good, and Variation 2 is pretty bad, but if he had two decent variations that were polar opposites of each other, I feel like that would put the character in a very good position, and you'd see more play out of him, and you'd see more divergent play styles out of him. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, right? Alright, so here's a character that I feel is also in a really good place. The only thing I would really change about Nightwolf is make this a 10 frame. So right now it's an 11 frame mid with really, really bad spacing. One of the things about Nightwolf is at the end of the day, he's just kind of doing this all day, right? And that's kind of boring. I would make it to where make it a frame faster, make it a 10 frame mid, so that way he has something to do off of a down 3 besides just down 3, 1-1. It makes him a very boring character, right? Give him that, make that a little bit faster, because from every other range he's got decent mids and decent options. He's got like forward 1 he can stagger off of, you know, he's got back 1, he's got staggers off of that, but when he gets in here he's got down 3, 1-1. And for a character that's supposed to be that aggressive and that offensive, he's supposed to be in your face, man. He's Native American hero, you know? Like, come on now. Down 1, 1-1, that's pretty boring. I would keep that the way it is, but I'd make that a frame faster so he's got a 10 frame mid to work with in the close range, so you can do that and you can stagger it and go for that. I mean, it's not a big change, it's just 1 frame, but it would put him on standing with other characters that have really, really fast mids, and it would kind of complement the playstyle of Nightwolf being a more in-your-face aggressive character. Also, in Variation 2, I'd make his command grab a mid grab. Again, that's something that I would do across the board to make command grabs scarier. and command grab characters scarier. I mean, you look at what it did for Kotal Khan. Kotal Khan is scary as hell, and Garrus is scary as hell too. There's no reason to go for the command grab variation on Nightwolf as it is. Variation 3 seems, more of a jack of all trades, so that's fine. Variation 3's got more mid-range options. Variation 2 would have the command grab as a mid-grab, and Variation 1 would be basically what it is, but that would be a little bit faster so he can kind of contest things at a closer range against other faster rushdown characters. It'd put him on equal footing with the other rushdown characters. So the Big Daddy, the boss of them all, he's got problems. Everyone agrees he's pretty bad, and I agree as well. A lot of the changes going around the community to fix the character, some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. One of the ones I had heard was to make down 1, right? So you look at his down 1 and it's plus 10, but he can't really jail into standing 1. Because of how high the hitbox is on his jab. So you see how it whiffed there. One of the changes I had heard was to make down 1 plus 15 so he can jail a little bit easier. And that did wonders for a lot of other characters. The other change is to make this, right, forward 3, 4, special cancelable. So you look at forward 3 and it's a 10 frame mid. So the arguments are, okay, he has bad mids that you can't really hit confirm, so make this jailable, or just give us a good mid to work with. And I honestly lean in the direction of give us a good mid. Here's the deal. You look at the other big bruiser characters, right? So you have Shao Kahn, Kotal Khan, and now Spawn. And one thing they all have in common is they have really good advancing highs, really good advancing moves, but they have crappy mids. And I feel like if Shao Kahn had a good advancing mid that he can hit confirm into for a combo, that would make him stand out from Kotal Khan and Spawn enough to be a unique, different character. And I don't think this being able to combo into shoulder tackle is really going to make him all that overpowered. Because at the end of the day, nobody picks this character to do this crap all day, right? You just, this is the Khan of Outworld, and I'm kicking your feet, and I'm swiping your feet, and I'm down punching you in the dick. Nobody picks Shao Kahn to do that. I think that this is more on brand. Yo, dude, I'm Shao Kahn. I step on you, and I shoulder charge you, and I do big ass combos. So I lean in I stand firmly in the camp of make 4-3-4 special cancelable. The other change I would make is the overhead off of his charge be allow that to come out on block. So, Shao Kahn sometimes will unga bunga here, right? If you look at the overhead, if you look at the overhead off the charge, it's still minus 12, right? Regular charge is minus 20. That's minus 23. This is minus 12. It's still unsafe. So I would just make it more unsafe. Make it minus 20 like the others so you can punish it with damn near whatever you want, but make it allow to come out on block. So that way Shao Kahn has some kind of gimmick and mind game of, oh, is he going to burn it? Is he going to do it? Oh, he didn't, because right now nobody uses this move at all. If I'm spending the bar, I might as well go for the full combo, but at least this way you could do a YOLO spin, YOLO charge. If they block it, now it's like, is he going to burn it? Is he not? There's some gameplay there. There's some counterplay and thought process behind it. I feel like with those changes, Shao Kahn goes from the worst character in the game to actually being pretty damn competitive. And I'd like to see more Shao Kahns in tournament play. I'd like to see Shao Kahn be a more competitive character. He's one of the iconic faces of Mortal Kombat, and it's really heartbreaking that he's kind of ignored among the tournament community. And it's kind of heartbreaking that, with what he's got, with what limited moveset he's got, for the most part, you're like, dude, I don't want to pick Shao Kahn and fight like a chump. Like, who does that? Like, who just sits there and, I'm just going to do this and this. Man, I want to step on people and do cool stuff with Shao Kahn, the Khan of Outworld. That's a quality of life change, and I don't think it would homogenize him too much. Yeah, it's giving him a good mid like all the other good close range characters, but I feel like the rest of Khan's kit is different enough to where having a good mid to complement the rest of his kit would still make him play different enough from someone like Garrus or, you know, Jackie. And he'd be fun. Shao Kahn's fun, man. Just make him not suck. Make this special cancelable. Make this meter burn on block. Only into the overhead on block. Alright? And that would be Shao Kahn. Alright, anyways, those would be my proposed changes in my dream balance patch. That's what I would do to fix some of the characters that are a little too much and fix some of the characters that are a little too little. Honestly, I feel like after the last balance pass through that the game is actually in a really good place, and the input buffer on punishing attacks with normals really opens up a lot. Like, I feel like that's a universal buff to everybody and opens up enough options for other characters to be able to get their offense started when someone overcommits. And I feel like the nerfs to a lot of the characters in the last balance patch kind of made them more normalized. You know, Johnny Cage isn't really as overpowered as he was, and I feel like the changes they add to him bring him more in line. It's just a lot of the weaker characters needed a little bit more juice, and Jackie is still way too much. But everybody else is fairly in a good spot, and the game is pretty decently balanced at this point. I'd just like to see more characters, or more character to variety in tournaments, and I think toning down Jackie a little bit more so she doesn't have free pressure and giving other characters some better tools to work with would do wonders for the competitive viability of the rest of the cast. Everybody else is fine. I'm not going to touch on Spawn because I feel like he's literally too new. And, you know, other characters that people were complaining about, like Katana, received a lot of really nifty buffs, and they were buffs that I would have wanted her to get anyways, so I'd rather see how Katana plays out how she is right now, rather than say, you know, give her more buffs. Like, I'd rather wait it out and see how she does with what she's got. Those are just the problem characters. And, yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and all of that. And if you have an opportunity, come check me out on Twitch, where I will blow up a bunch of people and make fun of them. And it's fun for the whole family. And I'm out of here. Hey, so if you follow YouTube enough, you know that they like to put weird stuff all over the screen for the last 30 seconds. So this is going to fill that space. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably right there and there. All over the place right now. Yeah, go ahead and click that stuff if you want. And that's 30 seconds.